Hi, I'm Shorty and welcome back to my YouTube channel Shorty Skate Series. In this video, I will break down how to do a handstand on roller skates, aka a Hoho. It may be a little different from other tutorials out there, but this technique is what works well for me. Step 1. Handstand off skates. Practicing your handstands off skates is a good way to build up strength and technique. I used to practice the donkey kick, but I found that this technique didn't work for me as soon as I had my skates on because of the extra weight. For me, I like to handstand with my arms straight and looking at the ground in between my hands. I have to remember to engage my shoulders, back and core muscles so I don't arch my back. My starting position is with both hands on the floor and my legs in a split lunge. Unlike gymnastics where you keep your legs straight, I will bend my knees to try and stack them over my hips and shoulders, as I can balance better like this than the tuck position. I'll also look to practice my handstand from a standing lunge as well, as this is closer to what it feels like on skates when reaching for the coping. Step 2. Basic handplant. Knowing how to do a basic handplant before attempting to handstand is extremely useful. If you need help with this trick, you can check out the beginning of my How to Handplant 180 tutorial to get tips on how to basic handplant. I'll add the link in the description below. Step 3. Add more pump. Once you are confident in the basic handplant, you want to pump more into the transition to gain more upwards momentum. This results in a handplant but with your lower body more in the air. I will also tuck my knees to become smaller as it's easier to pivot with your weight closer to your pivot point. For my entry, just like my handstand off skates, I'm in a lunge position. I kick up with my right leg and I push off my left skate. I try to push off through my front truck, but depending on the height of the ramp, my toe stop may touch. But I'm not looking to push off my toe stop. For my exit, as my body comes back down, I look to crunch my abs and bring my feet as close to the coping as possible. This makes it easier to get your legs and feet at the correct angle to land all 8 wheels on the ramp. Step 4. Stack your knees. As you plant your hands, kick off a little harder and look to go from a tuck position to stacking your knees over your hips and shoulders. You will also need to pump into the transition more to get your body traveling upwards instead of out over the deck. This will also help to keep your hands on the coping. I find adding this step helps me practice timing and balance without having to think about straightening my legs. The final step. Everything is similar to the previous step, but as you pivot your legs upwards, you want to straighten them instead of bending your knees. The final sequence looks like: look to pump, kick your back leg, plant your hands, push off your front skate, bend your knees, and use the momentum to take your hips and legs up into the air. To come back down, you want to tuck your knees to your chest, let your body fall into the ramp, and bring your feet as close to the coping as possible. If you end up with too much momentum, a safe way to bail is to twist your hips and land your feet on the deck. What about arms and hands? What works for me is to have my arms outstretched at shoulder height just before I look to pump into the transition. I then hold them as I spot the place where I want to plant my hands. When I plant my hands, I have my fingers on the deck and my thumb is wrapped around the coping to stop me from overshooting and help with my balance. Common mistakes and reminders. Number 1. Arched back. If you find you can't hold your handstands for very long, you may be arching your back to try and balance, rather than stacking your hips and knees over your shoulders. Remember to engage your core, back and shoulders when doing this trick. Number 2. Too much speed. If your hands are landing on the deck instead of the coping, it might mean you have too much speed and your momentum is throwing you forward. Try less speed and pump harder into the transition. Number 3. Waiting too long to push off. If you wait too long to push off, your body will just throw itself out onto the deck. Note, depending on your momentum and how hard you push, the timing and distance from the coping can vary. Number 4. Bent arms. Remember to keep your arms straight through the whole handstand. A slight bend in the elbow can make your handstand collapse once you pivot your weight over your shoulders. I hope you were able to take a couple things away from this video that will help you with your handstands. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, please tag me on Instagram, shortstop.crdl, as I'd love to see your progress. Thank you for watching and please like and share this video if you found it helpful. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more skating tips and tricks.